So can you start by telling me your name and your background?
My name is Kathy Van Drummond. I have been working at Methodist for 26 years now, all in the emergency room.
So when you heard that there was an opportunity to learn ultrasound-guided peripheral IV, what was your first reaction?
I'm probably one of the people that, start most of the IVs. If someone can't get it, they'll come to me and ask me to do it because I've been doing it for a long time and it comes with experience.
So talk to me about your initial impression of the training versus how you've seen others be trained on ultrasound in the past.
I will definitely say that I heard there was a pre-test we needed to take before coming, and then I realized it was a pretty detailed, in-depth online class that you had to take, and after watching it through, which took a couple hours, then you actually take the test at the end and you have to pass it with a 90 before you even come to class. We have to go through all of this. No, I'm glad I logged in tonight. I need to warn everybody else because this is like I never heard of taking a whole class online and taking a whole test and having to pass it before we even take the class. 5 minutes into it, I was like, oh my God, this is so interesting, or I didn't know that, and I wanted to keep watching it, and it wasn't like it was tedious for me. It was a lot of stuff I didn't know, and I was almost like, I can't believe I've been doing IVs for 26 years and I didn't realize that, or oh my God, the doctors are doing that wrong, and the nurses are doing that wrong, and it was so informative, and I just feel like most people, like, they do know how to start an ultrasound guided. It's like, oh, the doctor showed me how, or so-and-so showed me how, and sure, you could take somebody and, take an ultrasound machine and show them real quick how to do it with a little practice, but I didn't realize there was so much detail that you need to know that can be hurtful for a patient if you do things wrong, and just a lot of information I didn't realize, and I'm like, I am so glad I took this class because it was so much information I never knew before.
And then now that you've had a chance to have some precepting and experience, what are your feelings about what you're learning and how you're learning it?
I think it's really, really good. We've had a lot of the class by Zoom or virtual, but after taking that whole class, I almost think, like, how did anybody learn ultrasound guided by just somebody showing them? Like, I feel like you would have to have that class. If I came and we were doing the class on that Friday when we first came in and he was talking about things, if I hadn't taken that class, I would have known what he was talking about. And I've been a nurse for 26 years, and there was just so much information that was so important. And when we actually got in class, it made it so much easier to learn on the simulation, and even virtual. He had screens so he could show us, like, hey, stop now pull back, as he's able to visualize. So I thought it was very, very helpful. And but definitely, having the simulation helps, because I felt completely like, oh, I'm not going to be able to do this. I can start peripherals, but this is so much harder. Like, you think, oh, okay, you go on there, and then you realize how sensitive and touchy and how difficult it is. And I'm like, okay, well, it's going to take practice just like anything else. But then this is my second day coming now, and I feel like I've improved 180%. It's just, it's little by little. And now I'm thinking about things that I didn't think about, when you first taught the class. I'm like, okay, well, if I angle the probe this way, then I can see my tip better. And if you would have told me that in the beginning, it would have been way too much information over my head. But it's just a perfect combination of the learning material online, having his guidance and simulation, and then when you actually start to do it, it helps for him to give feedback, because then, and not until, like anything else, hands-on you have to do. So with the hands-on, you're able to actually put into play what he's telling you, but you can't do that until you get hands-on. And then, okay, now I know what he means by that, or now I know what he means by, when you advance this way, until you don't see the needle. And it's just all those little things tied in together. I think it made for an amazing class. The way that he has it set up, it's like he's right there and you can see the screen. And so I'm like, well, if they can teach a class this way, they should be able to teach everybody who wants to learn. I thought it went perfect. I have no suggestions. I think it went perfectly. So I think they should teach everybody how to use ultrasound guides.